Welcome to a Better Way podcast. This is your host, Jay Monopoly. As the co-founder of a seven-figure acquisitions company and as a veteran, I am obsessed with showing people that there is a better way at life. Every week, we will be joined by multi-millionaires, rappers, athletes, investors, and just overall people who have found a better way. So let's go ahead and get into it. Yo, Blue, finally, we over here getting this done, you know? A lot of people don't know this, bro, but you're actually one of the first people I had hit up when I was making that transition from fixing and flipping to wholesaling. A lot of people wouldn't know that, but you're one of the first people. I was like, yo, bro, you think wholesaling is really lit?
Yeah, I actually remember that call. Actually, I remember looking at your Instagram, and I was like, man, who's this guy in Versace Minx? And I'm like, who is this kid? And then I remember we spoke. It was like, yo, where you from? I was like, I'm from Queens. She's like, oh, I'm from Queens too. And then, we made that connection. But yeah, man, I definitely remember. Time goes by for sure.
Bro. And since then, you've really been one of the people who really provide a lot of game a lot of game in this industry, to be honest, bro. So much respect for that, bro. And like I said, I'm happy we finally got to sit down and politic. And most importantly, for everybody who's watching, to hear your story, bro.
Yeah, 100%. So, right now, guys, thank you for tuning in on A Better Way, right?
Facts. A Better Way with Jay Monopoly.
There you go. And if you're listening to the podcast, stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe. And I'm definitely about to drop a lot of gems. How I was expelled from school. How I, went to juvie. A lot of stuff. And basically moving forward on who I am today. So I'm excited.
I didn't know you went to juvie, bro.
Yeah, everybody goes to juvie, right?
Hey, speak for yourself, bro.
Oh, my bad.
No, dog, let's get into that, bro. Let's get into your story. I don't mean the story of how you got started in real estate, but, it's all connected when it's all said and done.
It is.
It's all connected.
It is. So, first and foremost, I want to start off with, the success that I have now. If I would have had it back in the day, I would have messed it all up. I would have blew it. Sometimes you can't question God's timing, right? Things happen at a certain time in your life for a reason,
Right.
So, I'm actually excited. And, when people talk about, how did it feel to get, expelled a semester before graduation, XYZ, and I was telling them I'm actually grateful. I'm happy that these things happened to me because I was able to grow from it, experience it, and now I know what it feels like, I guess, to be a delinquent, I guess. That's what they was calling me at school.
That's what you was.
Yeah, I guess it is. It is true. It is what I was.
No, but that's 100% fact, bro. Sometimes we don't receive the blessings until we're ready to receive them, until we grow into the person it deserves them, right? So that's 100% fact when you say that, bro. Tell us a little bit more about that story, bro. The whole expelled thing. It's funny. We've known each other for a few years now. I never actually heard the story.
So, I was one of those kids that was raised with a single parent. My grandmother raised me. I actually slept in a bedroom, right? So me and my grandmother actually shared a bedroom till I was 17 years old because we couldn't afford to have more than two bedrooms, one for my mom and one for us. And basically, met my father at the age of 14, around there. Found out he was wealthy through real estate, and I was just mad about that. Those kids that just be mad at their dad all the time, oh, you're not in my life.
You was one of those?
I was one of those kids. So due to that, I wouldn't do good in school. I'd be bad in school. I'd play hooky. I wouldn't go to class. I'd be in detention, ISS. Back in the day, it wasn't Blue Nose Brandon. It was ISS Brandon. You know what I'm saying? Because I spent all my time in school suspension. So just after repeatedly not listening, man, they just, finally expelled me. And it sucked because at that point in time, my great-grandmother died. So I was going through that. Then I got expelled. And I had a 1.5 or something. And obviously, I had to get a 2.0 to graduate. So that was the first time that I really had to man up in my life. Mom gave me everything. Grandma gave me everything. They held it down. So that's the first time that they couldn't really help me.
One thing you said that's actually pretty interesting, bro, is the whole... I think it's interesting that some people find, I was talking to this with my team the other day, is that some people find different fuel to drive them, right? And essentially, because I know obviously you're successful in real estate now, right?
For sure.
Do you think that you are successful in real estate because of kind of the emotions that seeing your father be successful in real estate gave you?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think that's what propelled me to want to do real estate. It was one of those things, as a man, I don't know if you can relate to this, right? But for me, I think it's one of those things where it's like a friendly competition, you know?
Yeah.
And I looked at it and I'm like, oh, this is what you do? All right, I'm going to do it better, right? And, you know, mind you, this was after, you know, trying to become a nurse. This was after, you know, being a barber for several years. I basically quit all of that to literally just try to, you know, do my real estate thing. You know, when in the beginning I failed. I was a realtor, so I failed at that miserably. And I honestly I didn't like having the control. You know, when you're a realtor, you're basically hoping that the person does, you know, either make a purchase or they actually sell that house. And everything is ran through them. So when it comes to wholesaling, you know, you're actually the person that's in charge, right? I mean, you're the one that's actually, you know, getting the property in the contract at whatever price you want, and you can sell it at whatever price you want. So you don't have to ask any questions.
No, that's what's up. I think that's interesting that you say that, bro, because I was talking to that with my team yesterday, bro, that sometimes our fuel that we use could either be something positive or something negative, but it's all how you use it, right?
Exactly.
Like, there's some people that, for example, they become alcoholics because their fathers are alcoholics or something, right?
Exactly.
Or there's people who will never drink a single drop of alcohol because their dad's alcoholic. So
exactly,
it's kind of like it took you towards the wrong path, but ultimately you use that to fuel you and eventually take you to the right path. So
yeah.
I just wanted to point that out right there because most people go through the motions in life.
100%.
Just going through the motions, and sometimes in order to break some barriers, you need to put that emotion behind it, whatever emotion that may be that you're using to propel you forward.
Yeah, I mean, you just gotta always think rationally, right? You gotta have strategic thinking, right? I mean, like I said, back when I was younger, everything was just all, you know, lashing out emotionally, which is why I acted out of character. But once I actually grew up as a man, you know, once I got expelled and I had to man up, I feel like that's where I really got in tune with my strategic thinking. You know, a lot of the times, like you said, it's an emotional thing, but you got to be able to act and move with a purpose, right? You know, just because you get mad doesn't mean you get in the car and start driving all crazy. You know,
yeah, for sure.
You gotta obviously, you know, move with purpose. And going on to what you said, I mean, I definitely think that you can learn something from anybody. I mean, even if somebody's homeless, you can learn how to not be homeless, right? So I think that that's very important. And what I've learned from my dad is obviously some real estate stuff. He hasn't really taught me much, but what I've learned is that when I have a kid, right, I want to be in their life, you know?
100%.
So I think, like I said, I learned about a lot of stuff, honestly, you know, in that time period.
Do you still have a relationship with your dad now?
Man, it's rocky because it's crazy. Me and my dad, we're cool, but you know, it's weird, man. He don't come around. So remember, I spoke in New York. I invited him. Dude just never. He said he was sick or some BS stuff. So to me, it's one of those things where I just got to move forward with the blessing. I got to understand that he's my father. I respect him.
Yeah.
But you know, some people are just better with it, you know, out of your life than in your life.
No, 100%, bro. 100%.
Yeah.
So you got expelled from school. You had to man up. What happened then?
So then, you know, obviously my mom's like, hey, listen, you know, you either got to go to college or you got to get a job because you can't live here without, you know, doing either or.
Spanish mom vibes.
Exactly. So I ended up first, you know, I always wanted to stay fresh, right? So I ended up first wanting to go ahead and learn how to cut hair. But I didn't know how to cut hair. I was out there, you know, messing up them shape-ups. So I started cleaning the barbershop. And now, as I'm cleaning the barbershop, I'm learning how to cut hair. You know, they're letting me test on random people.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm out there giving
the walk-in clients.
Yeah.
The walk-in clients.
I'm out there giving 187s in the beginning, you know. So, after that, I finally learned how to cut hair. So, I started cutting hair. And I started noticing, man. I said, in my life, I want to be able to have more time. And the only way for you to make more money in, you know, being a barber, me personally, is actually putting in more time because the weekends is where you make your most money.
Yeah.
Right? So that's when I said, you know what, I'm gonna listen to my mom. I'm gonna go to college, right? I'm gonna go to college. I'm gonna do this whole college thing. So she wanted me to volunteer and be at the hospital. So I volunteered at the hospital. And after 4 months, they finally hired me as a transporter. I was making like $10 an hour or something like that. And I was going to college to try to become a nurse.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So where did so you're at the hospital, right? You're working at the hospital.
Exactly.
Where did this juvie thing come in?
So juvie was actually in high school too, man. It was. This is when I already kind of changed my life. So juvie, you know, this actually's never been said before, right? And since we're on your podcast, you know, we're gonna keep it 1,000. The first time I ever went to juvie was actually I was so bad that my mom sent me to juvie. She actually called the cops on me and told the cops that I actually pulled her hair. And when I got out, she was like, I needed you to basically know, like, what it was to be in jail because you gonna be, you know, you gonna get yourself in trouble. You know, I was, you know, selling little nickel dimes. At that time, I came from New York. So at that point in time, like, I was in this gang. And then when I came over here, I was trying to.
What gang is that?
It's called DDP. So I was trying to make it like
You're
over
not even
here.
Dominican.
So I was trying to make it over here, right? And like I was just, being stupid, bro. I was just being a dumb kid, So that didn't really work, right? Because I was there for like 48 hours, and then and then the next time, me and a couple friends, we actually did what's called a home invasion. So, we ended up getting charged with that, but after time or whatever, thank God the charges got dropped. So that was a wake up call for real, because all my friends, they told them, all of them.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was also a big lesson.
No, that's crazy. I mean, that's the thing, and I'm glad you said it, bro. We say what's on our mind on this podcast. We keeping it 100. We keeping it all the way. We keeping it all the way 100 over here because somebody out there is gonna relate to this story specifically.
Yeah,
specifically,
100%.
If I heard something like this when I was 16, I'd have been like, shit. Like that's the type of stuff I was doing.
Yeah,
running into people's houses and stuff at 16 years old. I mean, it was New York.
Yeah,
it was the sport.
Exactly. Nah, and that's what I say. Like, I'm happy that I did that stuff. I have no regrets. I'm happy that I was able to, actually come out and thank the Lord. I was able to come out with no record. I didn't get hurt or whatnot. But I'm actually grateful that I did that stuff and I experienced that stuff when I was younger, because now I know that life is serious. Some people end up with felonies on their record. Some people end up, dead or whatever the case may be. So I'm just blessed to be able to now be in front of you and tell you, I was able to go through those tribulations, No,
that's a fact, bro. That's a fact. So let's take it. Let's fast forward a little bit. So now we're in now you're at the hospital.
Yeah.
Right. When did you discover that you could make money off real estate? Because I know you said you had, by this point, you discovered that your father was wealthy through real estate.
Exactly.
When did you discover you could also be wealthy through real estate?
And that's crazy, because that's like the epiphany bridge, right? That's where like you understand what you have to do, right? This is kind of where the rubber meets the road. Honestly, I didn't really discover that I could make money, but what it was that fuel to say, you know what, I got to do better than this guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have to. So actually, I was at the hospital. This guy that I knew, he actually had a book. I still remember to this day. It's called Dean Graziosi's 30 Days to Wholesaling or something like that, right? So I read that book, literally read the book, and and it basically told me about wholesaling. And came back to him. I'm like, yo, how do I do this? And he was trying to coach me, but he really didn't do much. So I ended up getting my realtor license. Got my license. That was the first thing that I ever passed on the first try of my life. It was one of the hardest tests, but like, I took it so seriously. Became a realtor. After 6 months, got fired being a realtor. Didn't make no money. Back to square one.
Why do you think it was something that came natural to you? You said it's the first thing you ever passed.
Yeah, so this is what I would say to anybody listening to this podcast, right? Is that if you're interested in something, right? This goes for sales too. If you're interested in something, you're gonna make a way. You're gonna pay attention, right? So like when I tell my team, listen, we're gonna cold call these people, right? If they pick up and say, hey, I don't have time for this right now, they're just not motivated, right? Because if they actually had a problem with their property, they would stay on the phone, they would listen. 100%. So I think that getting my realtor license, I was so interested, so involved that I actually paid attention.
That's a fact,
right? So when you pay attention to something, you're gonna do
facts. Something I do want to point out, though, that I'm sure I don't know if you knew this at the time, because I didn't know this when I first wanted to get started with something, with wholesaling specifically, but you didn't actually need your realtor's license to wholesale.
Exactly. So, I mean, I didn't even know that I did or didn't need my license.
Yeah, you didn't know what you didn't know.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't know. I basically thought, hey, it's not going to hurt to have it. At least I don't think so, right? So that's what ended up happening. And then afterwards, that's when I started putting out bandit signs, started getting the process, the YouTube, doing the YouTube research. And it just propelled from there, man, to be honest with you.
Nice, bro. Let's fast forward a little bit. What was your first deal?
So my first deal, I still
What year was it?
It was basically the end of 2017, early 2018.
Okay.
And it was actually 115 Bob Thomas Circle. I made 10 grand, and I actually paid somebody that sold it for me, a friend of mine. I paid him, I think it was like $2,500 or something like that, $1,500. And that was the most money I've ever made, man. I was so happy. I think the most money I ever made before that was Pell Grants, at college. I used to take the Pell Grants, just spending it on books. I used to keep it and try to, invest it in shit. But, yeah, that's how it was, So when I made that first $8,500, man, I thought I was the man. I'm not going to lie. But the good thing was that I knew then that the Lamborghini was actually obtainable. I knew that the Ferrari was obtainable. I knew that the lifestyle that I envisioned was obtainable.
You knew that the yellow Tesla was obtainable.
I knew it all was obtainable because working at the hospital, making $10 an hour, I'm like, this is not going to help me obtain my dream,
100%.
But once you find that gateway of success, you're like, man, this is obtainable. Like, now I can actually buy this, like, realistically, right? Because, I mean, you're going to tell yourself, yeah, I can do it, right? But can you really do it with this pay?
It's and this is what people don't realize, you have to see things that have a clear path to success, right?
Exactly.
And sometimes when you read about somebody doing it, when you know somebody doing it, you see the clear path to success, right? But then when you actually do an action yourself, a successful action yourself, you realize, oh shit, I'm only a few steps away from these guys now.
Exactly.
Now it's a matter of steps. It's not a matter of am I on the right path. It's a matter of steps now. They put in more steps in there.
Exactly, 100%. And then, I mean, I've only been in the game 3 years, and now it's so crazy because I talk with people that I used to look up to. You know what I'm saying? Now, you know, we're in the same rooms, we're in the same conversations, and it's just a blessing, man. It's just a blessing. You know, I don't want to be cocky, but I do want to say that I knew I was going to be here. You know, once I learned real estate, I knew that I was going to be successful in it because I just loved it so much and I want to learn everything about it. And that's another tip that I want to give you listeners out here is make sure that you're doing daily activities, right? A lot of people make yearly goals, like, hey, I want to lose 20 pounds by the end of the year, but they start in November, right? So you're giving yourself a month to actually lose 20 pounds. You know, you want to set yourself up for success, not for failure.
Facts. You should be making your 2021 goals right now.
Exactly.
And getting started right now.
Exactly, 100%. 100%.
Yo, that's crazy, bro. I didn't know you started late 2017.
Yeah.
That's when I started.
Exactly. What, fixing and flipping?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So,
I bought my first crib when'd you get yours?
Mine, I think, was like November.
That's crazy. I didn't know. I've known you for a few years now, and I didn't know that my first crib, I actually got it. I got back from deployment the week before Thanksgiving. And by December 11th, I remember, by December 11th, I bought my first house. All right. And by December 13th, I was on my way to Ecuador. And I hadn't even been able to, like, do anything with the crib. Just bought it. I just know I needed it. That's crazy. Our journey low-key started at the same time. I would never even known.
Yeah, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I mean,
100%.
I honestly, I think taking that first step into entrepreneurship is very key, you know, because, you know, you don't have that safety net. You know, now you're getting paid on your value. You know, the time clock isn't ticking, you know, per cent, per dollar that you're getting paid. But once you take that leap of faith, man, I promise you, and you feel that rush, I don't think there's any, for me, there's not a better rush than getting a check or getting a wire for more money than what you've actually put in the time.
It's a sport for me. No, for real. It's like, it's a sport for me. I remember, you box a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
I used to box as well. I used to compete.
Yeah.
And I always look for, my thing is that people don't realize that if you don't have any emotion behind what you're doing, then you're just going through the motions. And I know I kind of said that earlier, but people don't realize emotion is energy in motion. Right? That's really what emotion is. Energy in motion is you taking all that energy, good, negative, whatever it is, and doing something with it, right?
Doing something with it, yeah.
And I always look for something that's gonna give me that, like that feeling, right? There's this book I read. It's called the Feeling is the Secret, right? Which is self-explanatory. The feeling is the secret to the success.
Yeah.
And I always look for my next success. I think about a previous success I had. When that wire hit, the first big check you ever got, and I think about how good that's gonna feel when I do it again.
Yeah, like a manifestation.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, but except I'm grounding myself to the feeling. I know how good that feeling is. That I just gotta get that feeling again.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's what I recommend to people as well. Is like, if you haven't had that feeling yet, you know, have a vision board, right? You know, put it on your cell phone, put it on your computer, put it on your fridge. Remind yourself what the goal is every day, because procrastination is a disease, man. I mean, you can go days without being productive, right? I mean,
disgusting.
A lot of people have a busy day, but not a productive day. I think I learned that from you, right? Income producing activities. So you want to make sure that every single day you're doing something that's going to provide you income. You know, a lot of people, they sit back, they procrastinate, they don't want to do, you know, what they need to do, right? Like, I tell people all the time, people come, they're like, hey, Brandon, I want to learn what you do. You know, I'm tired of being broke. I'm tired of being this. I see them 2 months later, and I'm like, bro, you're not tired of being broke. Because if you were tired of being broke, right, you would do something about it. Yeah. Right? And that's what I was. I think I was just tired of working so much. I was tired of not being able to do what I wanted to do. And I said, hey, I got to get rich or die trying, like 50 said.
And what people don't realize is that shit never starts to change in your life until you're tired of your own shit.
Yeah.
Like, I can't be tired of your shit for you. You have to feel it. Like, damn, I'm really... Some people... And unfortunately, some people don't get that wake-up call until it's too late.
Yeah. Yeah. But the good thing is that you could always restart, right? It doesn't matter how old you are. You know, sometimes it could be later, but I don't think it can be too late. But the good thing is that you could always restart. There's always opportunity to make money out there. I've seen people go from $0 to $1 million in a year. 100%. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter what age, what time frame you are in your life. I mean, whether you have 3 kids, whether you have 2 jobs, you know, it doesn't matter as long as you put in the education. And that's another thing. I feel like in our education systems, we should have accounting, real estate, financing, things of that nature, you know, because if I would have learned that, I would have been intrigued in high school. I'm not going to lie.
No, I 100% agree. I mean, I had a taste of something like it, and I know I liked it. There was this teacher, I wish I remember her name. She was bad. I ain't going to lie. If anybody went to John Adams, it was the one that had a twin sister. If anybody listening to this, she had a twin sister. But she was my little woman crush Wednesday when I was 16 years old. We had it wasn't even a finance class. It was a math class, but she taught finances in it.
Yeah.
Right? I think she was off curriculum, honestly. I think it was just something she wanted to go over. But she was talking about the stock market. And I remember buying fake stocks of Best Buy and seeing it go up and seeing like, oh, this is dope. But because it was something so brief, it's something that I forgot about. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And to your point, that if our educational system had things that applied to real life, right? Like, it's crazy. You look at anything good that's government funded, bro. It's like, look at cars, private industries, right? Look what cars were back then, look what cars are now.
Yeah, they drive themselves now.
Right? Look at buses. Look at rockets, bro. Right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
But then you look at school systems. You walk into any school in America, especially in the hood, they all look the same. And they've all looked the same since forever. You walk into any DMV right now.
Yeah.
It all looks the same.
I think they program us like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they program red to be a bad color. They program blue to be a good color, right? Why is a stop sign red, right? I think it's all programmable. And it all stems from, like, just society. And that's what I don't like about society, right? That you got to put in the 16 years of education. You got to go get a job that's, like, 60, you know, what you get, 60,000 a year. And that's no knock to anybody doing that right now. But I think as a human being, as a person, you're worth more. I think we're all worth more.
Yeah, I was literally about to say that. I'm like, it's not a knock, but it's a wake-up call.
Yeah.
Like, you're worth more than that.
Yeah, you're for sure. You're worth more than that. Your family's worth more than that. And honestly, it was funny because a lot of my friends now tell me, like, yo, what's up, man? Let's go buy something at Louis, or, you know, let's go pop some bottles. And I told them, I said, man, I did all that stuff when I was broke. Like, when I was broke, I actually spent more money. You know what I'm saying? When I was broke, I used to buy the actual designer clothes. When I was broke, I used to pop bottles. Yo, let's come on. You know what I'm saying? I would have $1,000 in my bank account, and I would spend, you know, $600 to pop bottles with my friends and not even drink it, because I don't even drink. And looking at that mindset, right? I think that mindset is just so dumb, because at that point in time, you're trying to do things for other people.
Yeah.
You're never looking at it as, how can I help myself so I can help other people? It's more so, let me just do things so that everybody else is accommodated, right? And now, man, now look at stuff. I mean, we're sitting here right now, you know, filming this podcast. My Versace slippers all scratched up, you know, and I bought these when I was broke. You know, now I don't think I would even buy no more Versace. You know what I'm saying? Slippers at least, maybe some shoes. But I think, you know, when you actually elevate your game, your mindset is different.
100%.
You know? And you look at things like, for real, assets and liabilities, you know?
Yeah, no. I'm still guilty of wanting...
Oh, yeah, we all are.
It's funny.
We all commit sins.
Yeah, of course. It's funny because I'm like, if everybody who looks at me, they think I really be like outside partying all crazy and stuff. But how many times have I actually slacked on going out with you?
Yeah, no, I ain't gonna lie. I be testing you, honestly. I be testing. I'm like, man, let's see if we get him out. And he don't go out. That's weird.
It's funny because, like, to your point, bro, it was New York, bro. I was popping bottles, having stripper parties at my house when I was 16 years old.
Yeah.
So now
it's also perception, right?
Yeah.
Because, see, social media will give you the perception that
I'll be outside.
It's a lavish lifestyle. In all reality, it's not. So, I mean, not everything that you see is real, right?
Fact. Now, don't get me wrong. I have fun, right? Like, to your point, when we're speaking about money, right? It's a tool. Mm-hmm. Now, I know people that make more money than me that are probably way more miserable than me.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Going back to the whole income producing activities, it's knowing what income producing activities you have to do. Like, you say it all the time. You joke about it all the time. Like, you're like, damn, what do you even be doing, bro? Because it looks like I just be chilling every time you call me.
Yeah.
Because I know what income producing activities I got to do. I'm not worried about being busy. I'm worried about being productive.
Exactly.
So if I could get whatever I got to get done before noon, I'm going to do that instead of just making myself feel like I'm busy, but really not doing anything.
Yeah, I mean, and the goal is to obviously, work less, right? So look, the less you're working and the more you're getting paid. I mean, that's what's good about it, right? And that's another thing, which is why now I think the market's going to crash. I want to start getting more passive income. So, I'm definitely looking to start, acquiring more properties, rentals, maybe creative financing, doing things of that nature. Because I definitely think after presidency, the market's going to crash. And, anybody that knows something about real estate should do well.
Facts. So tell us more right now about how we went over your first deal, bro. Fast forward 2-3 years. How's your business running now? Give us a bird eye view of what your business looks like now.
Yeah, so right now we actually have 3 acquisitions. Well, they're called acquisition managers. I have 2 lead managers, and then we actually have now 5 cold callers.
Wow.
So I actually just hired a couple because I said it's my birthday, right? That's how I celebrate. You know what I'm saying? Hiring and employing, right? So, now basically what I'm trying to do is rebuild a team. After COVID, I did lose some employees and some stuff happened, but we're rebuilding the team and, we're trying to obviously get it back up again to how it was before, the coronavirus. So I'm actually really excited. We've actually been getting a lot of good leads and signing deals, and things have been going good, but they could be better, right? It could always be better.
Always. That's what's up, bro. And I know, one of the things I like about this podcast is we really be out here giving free game. Right,
yeah,
actionable steps. Look, there's a lot of things. People be like, "Yo, work hard, keep going." Nah, we give actionable steps here. Right?
Yeah.
Anybody, So anybody who out here wholesaling right now, that's tuning in, we about to give you some game for free $99.
Yeah, less than free $99.
Facts. So, bro, tell us, what is something right now that is working for you in your wholesale business specifically, right? Like, what list are you pulling? How are you doing stuff like that?
100%. So, basically what we do, guys, right, is we're trying to find motivated homeowners, right? So, how do we do that? Well, the best way to do that is to actually stack your list, all right? So, what we're doing is we're taking niche lists, right? What is a niche list? Tax delinquent, right? A probate, a code violations, right? And right now I'll tell you tax delinquent and code violations are the best 2 to stack. But you want to go ahead and find out which niche lists you like to pull the best in your county. Once you do so, stack them up. Right now, there's not going to be many. Sometimes there's less than 250. What you want to do is direct mail those, right? And once you direct mail those, right, they're going to be more susceptible to actually taking you a little bit more seriously, right, because of the mail. Now, what we do with that is we kind of send them more of like, I guess you can say like a FedEx envelope or something nicer or bigger that's a little bit more professional. And those are the people that we're looking to go ahead and really capture them because we know that they're on a bunch of lists, all right? So if they're highly motivated, you're looking for a deeper discount. And I'm going to just give you one more gem, which is this is a people's business, all right? So you have to learn sales, right? You have to be...
There's no way around that one.
Yeah, there's no way around that one, right? So you have to be a rapport builder, all right? Another key thing that I tell my guys is you have to get them to BLT you, right? So BLT is believe, like, and trust. If you can get somebody to believe, like, and trust you, you will gain anything from them. You can sell them or buy anything, right? Because right now, guess what, guys? If you didn't believe, like, or trust Jay, right, and you wouldn't be listening to this podcast at all.
That's a fact.
So if you get somebody to believe, like, or trust you, you're actually better off doing business with them, right? So that's the first thing that I tell my guys. As well as when you're cold calling, right? I mean, we're going back to this again. When you're cold calling, right? A lot of people say, hey, Brandon, I'm actually, I'm very timid. I don't know how to talk to people. I'm shy. Well, listen, let's talk about something that you do know about. Because I bet if we talked about what you're good at or what you do know about, you can talk my ear off, right? So all you have to do is actually just educate yourself in the actual script. Educate yourself in real estate, and it's going to be easier. Like right now, we can talk about real estate for days probably, right? Because we do this.
Facts.
Right? So for people that are starting out, just educate yourself a little bit more. And with education comes confidence. With confidence comes execution. And then with execution comes experience.
So one of the biggest things is actually being able to make sense of what you're doing. Right?
Yeah.
If you're just going through the script to memorize it, you don't make sense of it. Because once something makes sense in your head, you understand why you're saying what you're saying.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And we just went through that with one of my lead managers. She actually just started today. She's 17 years old. And this is the actual steps, right? This is what I actually told her. Hey, listen, memorize the script, okay? Then we're going to do some role playing, right? After the role playing, I actually went through the script with her so that she can understand the questions on why we're asking those questions. Excuse me. So we'll ask a question like this. Well, hey, Mr. J, why would you consider selling this property? Now, the reason why we say consider versus, do you want to sell, or, why do you want to sell, is because we don't really know, right? We don't really know, and that's going to upset people, right? So we ask open-ended questions. We ask gray area questions, right? And you have to know why you're asking them, because the tonality is different. Mm-hmm. They say that when you speak to somebody over the phone, 90-something% of the time, you're actually visualizing what they look like.
Facts.
Right? So when you're on the phone and you're cold calling and you're trying to get yourself your first deal, you want to go ahead and sound like you're a little bit confused on why they might want to sell, or you want to sound like you're really trying to cater to them and help solve their problem, like they're just not another, telemarketing call.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest things you said, is that they can't see you. So you have to figure out a way. Going back to, if do stuff without emotion, then it's just not going to be good.
Yeah.
You have to be able to feel that energy through the phone. Like right now, this is audio. This is all audio right now. But even through this, you already know this is a handsome man talking to you because of the energy that I project through these sound waves.
Yeah. So, that's the biggest one. And we've also tried hiring salespeople, people that work at, car dealerships. And I'll be honest with you, great salespeople, but sometimes they don't make the actual best employees. And it's just because maybe they're too pushy. The sales psychology is not the same.
It's a completely different sales psychology. They're looking at it as, I call it same side selling, what we do.
Yeah.
It's both of us trying to come to a kind of agreement.
Yeah.
Where we could both win.
Yeah.
Where sales is more like head office. Like with car sales,
Exactly, 100%. And going into that's another thing that we use. It's never our fault. Like I tell my guys on the team, and now obviously my girl, I tell them all the time, listen, blame me. When you're talking to them and they're like, hey, I know I want 100,000 and we need it at 90,000. Hey, I really want to do 100,000, but my boss, he's a little bit of an asshole. Trust me, I want to get you this. Right now, he's already agreed to paying the closing costs. But if there's any way that we can make this a win-win situation, I'm pretty sure that I can get him a come up. I just want to make sure that that's okay with you, right? So when you actually do same-side selling, like you said, the psychology is different, right? If you don't have a boss, another good one that we say is, hey, you know what? I would love to give you $100,000. It's just the market is not allowing me to do so.
Yeah, even if you didn't have a boss, you should have a boss.
Exactly.
If you don't have a boss, have a partner.
Because they don't know.
Good cat, good. Yeah, they don't know who you are over the phone.
Yeah,
good cat, bad cat.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
I don't know why that's so hard for me to say. I'm gonna good cat, bad cat.
Exactly, 100%.
No, but for real, like you never want to be the bad guy. Mm-hmm. I'm never the bad guy. I'm like, yo, I wish I could give you that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they underestimate how much humor could get you.
Oh man,
humor is big, bro.
Yeah, humor is, and that's going back to the BLT, right? Believe, like, and trust. And what I call it is pockets of rapport, right? So as we're having a conversation, I'll throw out little things like, "Oh, did you see the presidency debate?" And if they say, and if they actually catch on right now, my whole goal is to not even talk about the House. I'm trying to talk about what their perspective is on the debate, right? Who do they like?
Because that's what I'm gonna be.
Yeah, exactly. Do they like Biden? Why do you like Biden? Oh, how does he make you feel? And then you want to go back and forth. Another thing is you want to be relatable, right? Sometimes we talk about golf. I really don't know too much about golf, but I'm asking questions. Oh yeah, only person knows Tiger Woods, XYZ.
Yeah, I always try to throw in something in there that makes me relatable to current situations, right? I remember I hopped back on the phone 3 months ago, and I was like, yeah, man, we actually just got back into the office, this COVID thing, man. Are you actually working right now? Yeah, bro, everybody could agree that this COVID shit is ridiculous.
Exactly.
So everybody's like, yeah, man, it's so crazy that immediately now we're friends on the phone.
Exactly.
Right? Now, even if I give him a number he don't want, he's not going to curse me out.
Exactly. Yep, 100%.
That's going to be someone I can follow back up with. Like, hey, so... Whatever. Set myself up for the follow-up.
The follow-up is key, 100%.
Major key.
Which is moving on. What I always tell people is that this is data, people, and systems, right? And once you actually learn what you're doing, you should definitely have good systems in place to help you duplicate yourself, right? And that's what we have Mamba for, right? Mamba is basically a CRM that helps you, automate, delegate, task, store, a lot of stuff that's going to help you move forward in your business, right? And obviously make it scalable. You want to go from 1 deal to 10 deals, that's what you're going to need to do.
Facts. And you can't do it without having sophisticated systems behind you, which is, that's why actually anybody getting started, if you find yourself losing, even if you haven't found yourself there yet, you should definitely start looking at how you're going to get systems in place to remind you when you have to call somebody, to organize those leads. And that's why I recommend anybody to Mamba CRM. It's literally I paid thousands of dollars to get a CRM. I'm sure you did too.
Oh yeah, through trial and error. It took us 3 years to make Mamba.
No, I spent thousands of dollars on my CRM. You know, in the words of Albert Einstein. Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't Albert Einstein. I'm bugging. In the words of Warren Buffett, I was thinking of another Albert Einstein quote. In the words of Warren Buffett, right? He said that it's great to learn from your mistakes. It's better to learn from the mistakes of other people.
Ooh, yeah. Right. And you know what? Stemming off of that, growing up, that's what I did exactly 100%. I think that's what fueled me to, because I looked, my grandma, she was janitor for her whole life. My mom, she always worked paycheck to paycheck. And I actually looked around and I said, like, Mom, I love you, Grandma, I love you, but this is something that I don't want to do.
This is whack.
Yeah, like, I don't want to do this. And what actually changed my mind from quitting my nursing degree, right, was the fact that I looked around at the nurses and I was just like, I love this job, but I don't think I want to do this anymore.
I don't want to live like this.
Yeah, I don't want to live like this. And I think that's what really propelled me to do something else, right? And if you're at this point in your life right now where you're like, yeah, I want to try it. Yo, just do it, right? You can never know what the temperature in the water is if you never put your foot in.
Facts. But one of the things I would hit that, a lot of people don't know this, but like scientifically speaking, right? The reason that humans were able to evolve the way we did, the reason humans are on the top of the food chain the way we are, is because humans can learn from the mistakes of others, right? So I'm like, I shouldn't eat that plant. I seen it kill the last 4 people that ate it. Let me not eat that. Let me figure out a way to make this food better, right? Other animals can't do that.
Yeah.
Right? So if you find yourself in the mindset where you're listening to someone that has the results that you have, and they're telling you, yo, don't do that, but you still want to touch the stove to see if it's hot, you're not going to evolve very well. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
If you have to learn from your mistake every single time. Because, look, losing money is part of the process.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm trying to avoid it as little as possible.
Of course.
Nobody likes to lose money.
Yeah.
You don't make money when you lose money, literally.
Yeah. That's why you pay with money or you pay with time.
100%. And that's one of my favorite quotes. That's always been one of my favorite quotes.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it, I'm either going to pay in time and mistakes, which is going to... Am I going to get there? Yeah. But if I could pay in money and mentorship, and I could get there in a year instead of waiting 4 years to get there, I'm going to pay in money and mentorship because that money's going to come back. That time, never.
Yeah, I mean, and that's actually a big thing too. Like when I really wanted to scale my business, I actually had to learn. Right, I was attached to money. I had to learn that this was going to be more of an investment, not an expense, right? So like investing in your business, I used to look at it like, oh man, I have to spend, $5,000, $10,000 to do this, right? For this training or this mentorship or this class or, for marketing or whatever. And I used to look at it like, no, you know what? I'm just going to do half. And really you have to look at it as really an investment, not an expense. And that's how you should look at your life, right? I mean, people go to work, they work 40 hours a week, but they won't work 3 hours, on their business.
No, facts.
And that's just the mindset, right? You just need to go ahead and think about it and say, you know what? I need to stop working for the man. I need to, be the man.
You treat it like a hobby, it's going to pay you like a hobby. You treat it like a business, it's going to pay you like a business. That's what it comes down to. You look at I just look at the greats. That's what it comes down to, right? One of my favorite entrepreneurs, if not my favorite entrepreneur right now, is Elon Musk. Sold PayPal. That he had the month he sold PayPal, he cashed out $90 million. He had to borrow money for rent. Because he used all that money to invest into Tesla, Solar City, and SpaceX.
Yeah,
literally had to borrow money for rent after cashing out $90 million. Do you understand the focus and dedication it takes to believe in yourself enough to go all in like that?
I mean, $90 million, that's a lot, He
could have invested $45 million and still been good.
Exactly.
That's a lot of money to invest, $45 million. But he said, no.
I'm doing 90.
I'm doing the whole goddamn thing.
Yeah. And that's what it is, man. You have one life to live. It's do or die. It's right now. You got people counting on you, right? You got your family counting on you. You got friends and family, relatives, cousins, moms, dads. Somebody's counting on you to make it, right? So that you can help them. So that's what I tell people all the time, man. Don't be selfish. Next time you go to work, ask yourself, is this enough to go ahead and help my family? If it's not, you need to find another way.
Right.
You need to study.
A better way.
Yeah.
With J Monopoly.
A better way. You need to find something else, right? That's going to help you make more money while you're sleeping, while you're not working, generate passive income. so that you can retire. The average person can literally live off of $3,500 a month. So, if you want to go ahead and start... Yeah, but well, I mean, in Florida. I don't think Cali. Yeah, Cali's crazy.
$3,500 a month.
$3,500 a month, bro.
That's interesting.
Bro, there's people out here that getting my grandma gets in her pension, bro. She gets like $2,000 a month, and she pays for all her stuff.
When I was in the military, I was probably making $2,500 a month.
Yeah, you see,
terrible.
Yeah,
I had a horrible life.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, you changed. You decided to change.
No, of course. Like I said, you don't change until you're tired of your own shit.
Exactly, 100%. Yep.
So for anybody that's listening to this right now, tuning in right now, right? If you could give them 1 or 2 actionable steps that they should take on immediately after hopping off this podcast, what would that be?
The first one is I would probably say cut the bullshit. You just got to cut the bullshit out, right? I mean, and what do I mean by that? The miscellaneous spending, right? Yeah. Like everything's an emotional drive. You walk through the mall, you look at those pair of shoes. Do you need a pair of shoes? No, you already got 10 at home, right? But you're going to buy it anyways. That money could have been actually made to get an LLC. That money could have been made to buy a little course. That money could have been actually there to help you buy a book that might change your mindset, right? Which I would recommend: Outwitting the Devil, Rich Dad, Poor Dad,
Think and Grow Rich.
Exactly. All of these books, I mean, I think Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad was probably like what literally set my mind on fire.
Mine too. It was Think and Grow Rich for me too. I'll tell the story for that right now in a little bit.
Okay. So yeah, that'd be the first actionable thing. I mean, a lot of people, that DM me, they're like, hey man, I want to buy your course. I love your content, love your stuff. I just don't have the money. And I always tell them, listen, go into your account right now. If you have literally $300 that you have spent this month on things that you shouldn't have bought, you could have already been halfway to my course, right? So you just have to find a better way with your spending. I tell people all the time. People are like, hey man, I know you're getting to the money, you're getting to the bag. How do you keep it? You just got to manage it, right? So it's not about how much money you make, but it's also about managing. Yeah, and how much you keep. So the first one I would say is just cut the BS out, literally take action, right? The next step is literally identify your why. Every entrepreneur will tell you, hey, you got to find your why. And I think your why is important because your why is what's going to help you wake up every morning and do things that you don't want to do, right? Because once you clock in, once you go to work, you go to 9 to 5, all you have to do is clock in. Whether you're sick, whether you're doing a good job or not, you're still going to get paid. Now, granted, if you're not doing a good job, you might get fired.
Yeah,
you might get fired. But you're still going to get paid for those hours, right? When it comes to entrepreneurship, you get paid based on your value, not your time. But the value you provide is so immense that the work and the money's worth it. So I would just say identify your why and cut the BS out, man. That's what I would say. Those are the first 2 things that I would do.
Facts. And a way I recommend, and I can help you do that, is I've been telling everybody to do this lately. I'm not sure if I've even said it on this podcast yet, but go get a piece of paper, right? And draw a line right down the middle of it. On the left side, label it goals. On the right side, label it distractions. Right? So now on the left side, one of your goals is to retire your mother. Right? Take care of your kids. Put your kids through college, right? Those are some goals you have on the left side. And on the right side, you have go out for a drink. Go fuck with some toxic women, right? Then, if you have that hanged up where you see it somewhere every day, and you still make a conscious decision to go have that drink, knowing that it's gonna stop you from your ultimate goal of retiring your mother, and you're one messed up person. You see that every day and still make that conscious decision. And sometimes you need to see it, and it has to be that extreme for it to be noticeable for you. Honestly, I'm not saying everybody who has a drink is terrible. I'm not saying that, right? But there's some distractions that can be easily avoided once we realize that it's overall not helping our mission. It's actually hurting our mission.
Yeah. And I think I've learned this from older people in my life too, is like, the one thing that, you always ask them, if you could change one thing when you were younger, what would you do? They always talk about, I wish I would have went to school. Or I wish I would have got better grades, or I wish I would have took this job, or I wish I would have listened to this person. And you know what? I try to say, and I try to live by, not having no regrets, right? So every single day I try to push it to the limit. Every day I try to go ahead and make sure that I'm doing what I need to do to make sure that, my goal list or my vision board is really going to be obtainable, and I can execute on that.
Facts, bro. I think if you find that everything on your vision board is too obtainable, though, you're not thinking big enough either, though. Yeah, that's another thing.
Well, it's just an old vision board. You got to get a new one.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
because I'm starting to see a lot of the stuff on my old vision board right around the corner.
Yeah,
house in Miami, Bentley coming soon. From the vision board to the wrist.
Yeah,
we've all been there before. So always realize that you got to keep switching the goal, bro.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, but that comes with growth.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
You got to take it small, but in the beginning, it's just starting off, right? I mean, how was you scared investing that money when you did your first flip?
No lie, bro. For me personally, nah, bro.
No?
Nah, I wasn't.
Wow.
Not my first flip. I had I went through a lot of failures before I got into real estate, where I was really nervous doing a lot of those.
So you already kind of were used to the risk of entrepreneurship.
Nah, I wouldn't even say that, bro. When God brought real estate into my life, bro, when the universe brought real estate into my life, whatever higher power you believe in, right? When it was brought to my life, I felt like I was being guided already.
Wow.
I felt like it was my birthright to be successful.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way.
Yo, when people ask you, did you know that this was going to be your lifestyle like a couple years ago, what do you say?
I said, growing up, no.
Okay.
But from the time I was 19 and I met somebody who had that lifestyle, 100%.
Okay.
Going back to the story, Think and Grow Rich, right? I mean, I'm not Think and Grow Rich. Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah.
I remember I was in the barracks room reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I was in the military reading that shit. And I'm like, boy, just busting my scalate right now, man. Like, have my mind blown.
Yeah.
And that same weekend, I went to go link up with one of my mentors. But the first mentor I ever had in my life, Anthony Fernandez. Shout out my guy. He used to do these big soccer games in San Diego. Really big soccer games, really killing it, doing his thing, bro. I remember I linked up with him. And I was telling him, at the time, I'm like, yeah, I might do 20 years in the military. He's like, why would you do 20 years in the military, bro? Why don't you just use and leverage everything that they're giving you for free to do this, to do that, to do this, to do that?
Wow.
And I remember, like, literally realizing how obtainable it is because I'm here talking to someone who did it.
Yeah.
And I remember, it's almost like I just saw the whole matrix, like... No lie, that's really how I felt, bro.
Yeah.
I remember that feeling where I was like, yo, this is so obtainable.
And that's one of the key words that you said right there, leverage. I mean, that's such a powerful word.
Yeah, and then one of my first investments that I was really nervous for, it was, let me tell you a story. A lot of people don't know this. So, 19 years old, right? After I had that meeting with him, and, my dumbass, instead of actually investing with him, I'm over here, like, looking for stuff to invest in. And my boy Pena, who I'm actually about to see here in a few days, he was part of one of my first investments. Look, let me show you this right here. I know this is all audio, but at least Blue gets to see it. We went to go put some of our credit up for a restaurant, bro. Let me look. This is us signing the agreement to the restaurant right there. You already know there's no cap in my rap. New York Buffalo Wings and Ribs in Vista, California. Shut down now. Completely closed, right? We got lucky because we went through this credit processor where they go ahead and they apply for credit on your behalf when people use it. You had to be 21 to use it. And we were 19 at the time, me and my boy Pena. So the contract ended up being null and void. We got our money back from a losing investment.
Wow.
So I went and, I go ahead and tell Anthony that. And Anthony's like, bro, why would you do that when you know damn well you have me right here? Like, that's almost disrespectful. Like, to be like, to go and try to find somebody else. Like, bro, how about you give me those 20 grand that you were going to get through credit, and I'll give you 20% from the soccer game.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, I don't know why, but all of a sudden, I got nervous as hell. Just because, like, I made a mistake on my last one. So I was... Me and my partner Levi. Levi's been partners since we were like 18 years old. That's what people don't really realize. I go get approved for $10,000 on a line of credit from Navy Federal. And if you're 19 years old right now and in the military, you could do that yourself. Navy Federal loves giving us money.
The VAs, they be taking care of you.
Facts. And then so Levi gets 10 grand. And we go ahead and give it to him. 2 months later, he ends up giving us a little bit more than 20%. And I think it was $25,000 back. So,
which is a good investment.
In 2 months, bro.
Yeah, that's a great investment.
Money that I didn't have to work for. And I remember when I got that check, gave me the check back. Boom, wrote it right in front of me. Boom.
At the time that I got that check, things were going really good in my life. I had just turned 20 years old. I just got my first winning investment that I had to not work a cent for. They didn't put any of my own money into it. So boom, powerful lessons.
Yeah.
I was with the girl that I was with at the time, right? Long distance relationship. She had just flown out from New York to California to spend some time with me. My best friend had just flown out from New York to California to spend some time with me. My dog Pena, that I'm talking about, had just got married. And this was a genuinely good part of my life where I had some extra money to spend that I made without working and without putting any of my own money in.
So I got a question for you. Talking about better times in your life, would you say that the saying is true, more money, more problems?
Absolutely not. My brothers don't believe it. My brother don't believe it. More money, better problems.
Got you. I hear
more problem, more money, more solutions.
Exactly. And it's kind of looking at it, is the cup half empty or is it half full, right?
Always half full to me.
Yeah, always half full, right? And I think that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like going back to what we talked about in the beginning. I mean, God just does things at a certain time where you're like, man, that's fantastic, right? I wish I would have started at 20 years old. I'm pretty sure like I would have been out of here.
It was my fault too, though, because like you said, something you said earlier that really hits hard and is very applicable to this, right? Is that I wasn't ready to receive those blessings at that time, clearly, right? Because I did a lot of stupid stuff with that money. Don't get me wrong, I kept on my investing journey, but I also was making money from those investments and blowing it until I took a really big loss. And then from that loss humbled me for about a year till I went on deployment and found real estate.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, what I would recommend, guys, if you guys are looking to just start anything, it doesn't have to be real estate.
Yeah, anything.
Anything. I mean, literally, look at yourself and say, what do I want to be or what do I want to do the next 5 years? And if you're not doing that right now, you need to stop completely and do whatever it takes to do that.
Facts, because your actions is not aligning with your goals.
Exactly. And make sure, and that's another thing, man. After you start becoming successful, I mean, your alignment has to be good. Your health starts to be good. Needs to be good. Your mental needs to be good. But I think it all starts with the way that you think. I think your mental, I don't even know how to say it, but I guess your mental psychology on how you view things and how you look at things, right? Is just, I don't think that I've ever worked so much on weekends, right? But like literally working on something that's going to provide me in the next 2 years. Now, when I do something, I think about a business that I can sell in 2 years, 3 years, right?
In fact, I don't even look at weekends anymore, bro. Yeah. I live every day the same.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. It's a weekend, it's a weekday. I'm doing whatever the hell I want to do.
I mean, exactly, 100%.
But I know, Blue, I know you're a busy guy, bro. I don't want to hold you up here too long. So you know what I do want to do though is I want to let everybody know that every wholesaler who's watching this, who's looking to systemize, right?
Yes.
I'm actually gonna go ahead and put in the show notes how to go ahead and get a free demo for Mamba CRM, because this CRM is literally revolutionizing the game. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the show notes. And yo, Blue, I appreciate you hopping on, my brother.
Yeah, and as well as I wanted to go ahead and mention Any Deal, which is basically we're coming out with the 2.0 version. What I always tell people is that you make money when you buy, not when you sell. Right,
100%.
So a lot of people always say, "Hey, I got deals. It's just hard for me to sell them." That's because you just bought them too high. Any Deal is an application out there. You can download it on the Google Play Store as well as you can download it on iOS and Apple platforms. We're coming out with 2.0 here in a couple months, and I promise you that's going to be the best real estate application. It's going to help you run numbers. It's going to make you offers. There's some other things that I can't disclose, but I promise it's going to change how you view and how you do business in real estate.
100%, man. Let's change the game. And for everybody who's watching this, again, y'all already know, none of this matters. None of this knowledge matters that you just got if you don't apply it.